Guesses about nature's remedy. All vegetable? Yes. Time-tested? Yes. Gentle acting? Yes. Economical? Yes. Your friendly neighborhood druggist has them in that familiar red and black box. Two kinds, uncoated or candy-coated. Each dependable, thorough, yet gentle. Get a 25-cent box tonight. N.R. N for nature's, R for remedy. Nature's remedy. Remember, N.R. tonight, tomorrow, all right.
And now, here is Bulldog Drummond to tell us about next week's story.
While traveling by plane to attend to some personal business, Denny and I discover that a fellow passenger intends to kill the brother of the girl with whom he is traveling. Later, we have a wild automobile ride, discover a murdered man, and become involved in the matter of an unpaid gambling debt. I call the story Escape to Death. Be sure to listen, won't you?
And so, into the night walks Bulldog Drummond, seeking new adventure and excitement. Join us next Monday at the same time for Bulldog Drummond, starring Ned Weaver, in another thrilling story. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
This iHeartRadio station is brought to you by Vitamin Water.
This truck season, think about all the things you can do in a Chevy truck. You'll be able to... Or you can even just... With impressive towing, functionality, and power, Chevy trucks have what you need to get things done. When you want to do it all, Chevy's got you. Click to learn more. Visit ChevyDealOnline.com.
Welcome back. Well, a really enjoyable episode. I thought we had a good mystery and some really fun investigative scenes. I love the hotel clerk and the telephone operator, particularly that moment when the hotel clerk informed Drummond and Denny that murder in the hotel rooms was against the rules. That right there should settle it. It should also be said that when the supposed killer picked up the phone and said, you have the wrong number, that was actually playing off of one of the most famous radio plays of them all, Sorry, Wrong Number, where she's on the phone trying to get the police and then is killed. The police finally call, and that's what the killer says, essentially. So they were kind of, I guess, maybe doing an homage to that. Also, the tease for the next episode, it was interesting, they titled it Escape to Death. Now, there had been about a month worth of episodes between last week's show and this week's, but if you're using Escape to Death 6 weeks after using Escape into Death, maybe you need to get a little more original with your titles. Well, we start out with a question regarding the episode Murder in the Death House. This one comes from Maureen on YouTube. If the doors are electronic, how did he get into the victim's cell? That's a good question, Maureen, and the episode doesn't answer that. I would say, I think it, because the prisoner was killed with a knife, but he had a note that was found on him. It was possible to me, it seems, that the killer could have lured the victim over to the edge of the cell, perhaps by saying that he had gotten word that he was going to spill the beans and that he was going to break him out of jail instead. Maybe convinced him that that was something that he could do, particularly since he'd gotten back here despite the electronic eye that should have kept him in his cell. But then he grabbed him, stabbed him, and put the note in his pocket. I mean, maybe that's a little far-fetched. Actually, no, not maybe. It is a bit far-fetched, but it's the best answer I can come up with. If anyone has any other guesses on that case, I would love to hear. Because I did go back and check, and yeah, there doesn't seem to be any explanation for that part of the mystery. Then we have an email from George, and George writes, "Hi, Adam. I hadn't heard any of the Bulldog Drummond podcasts before and find that I'm enjoying them. They're a bit quirky, but very much of their era and fun to listen to. I just listened to the episode Help Wanted and noticed something which had also occurred in previous episodes, namely rather lengthy musical interludes. Combined, they seem to really go on too long. It seems that they were padding out the time, as there perhaps wasn't enough story material. Am I wrong, or was there something else going on? I don't recall hearing other serials doing this, at least not to this extent. Thanks, and as always, keep up the good work." Well, thanks for the comments, George. And I think you kind of get an answer today. You didn't have quite as long of musical interludes because we had commercials. Bulldog Drummond was a series that was syndicated. And oftentimes, syndicated series would come with these musical interludes that would then be replaced with local ads if a station ran it. You can hear similar musical interludes on things such as The Adventures of Frank Race or Philo Vance or Boston Blackie, although maybe not quite as long. I didn't measure the time specifically. And then a comment and review from Good Pods on Peter and Alexis, those guys, writes, "The effort you go towards answering listener questions does not go unnoticed. You provide both enjoyable old-time radio and well-researched responses. Great work." Well, thank you so much. I really enjoy getting listener comments and questions. And really, it is the listener comments that drive the commentary. If there's not a whole lot to say about a particular episode, there's not a whole lot to say. Yeah, and occasionally I'll have an episode where it's just got so much richness to it that I can go on for 10 minutes about it. But those are really rare. But I really love the feedback, the questions, the insights, everything that I get from listeners, because then it really becomes a conversation, and I get to look into some things and think about some things that I wouldn't have otherwise. And really, it's those sort of comments, that's where the good stuff comes from. Well, now it's time to thank our Patreon supporter of the day, and I want to go ahead and thank Steven. Steven's been one of our Patreon supporters since March of 2020, currently supporting the podcast at the rookie level of $2 or more per month. Thank you so much for your support, Stephen. And that will actually do it for today. If you're enjoying the podcast, please follow us using your favorite podcast software. And be sure to rate and review the podcast wherever you download it from. We'll be back next Tuesday with another episode of Bulldog Drummond. But join us back here tomorrow for Broadway's My Beat, where...
Not bad, Florio. 3-point landing.
Hi, Lieutenant. Come on, get in.
Thanks. You headed uptown?
Well, that depends, Lieutenant. Wherever you say.
Uptown?
You better call headquarters first. I've been cruising, looking for you. Headquarters said you were in Harlem.
Yeah, call them, Florio.
Sure. Patrol car 15, calling headquarters. Come in. Patrol car 15, calling headquarters.
Headquarters receiving patrol car 15. Go ahead, 15.
I take it, Danny.
Yeah. Danny Clover speaking.
Danny, Tartaglia speaking. About that Arakarian robbery. Guy named Jerry Kirk called you.
Yeah?
Said he wanted you there when he took Paul Thomas.
Oh, where's all this taking place?
137th Street, a condemned tenement, 3 houses from the northeast corner on Lenox. 10 o'clock, the guy said.
That's right now, Tartaglia. Thanks. Let's go, Florio. You heard the man.
I hope you'll be with us then. In the meantime, send your comments to box13@greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter @Radio Detectives and check us out on Instagram, instagram.com/greatdetectives. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off.
This iHeart radio station is brought to you by Vitamin Water.
You're free now. Free to kick back, relax, and stream beyond your wildest dreams.
Rom-coms, slasher comps, space operas, space westerns, cupcake bake-offs on Mars.
Free to fill your feed with impossibly chonky chonkers who chonk harder than you ever thought possible.
Cats, corgis, babies, baby penguins, baby pandas, chunky baby pandas.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things.
Bowl of chips on the robo-vacuum.
And master devices that have no business being smart.
Smart forks, smart toothbrushes, smart tortilla makers.
Free to open a world of remote work and a portal into Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine, and then some. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber. Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability. Service in select locations only.